Welcome back to more beef with me, Jason Whitlock, as I go through my top 50 media beefs of all time. Checking in at number 44, Michelle Beadle. I can't believe Michelle Beadle made this list. For those of you that have followed me on Twitter since its inception in 2009, many of you will remember the show that I proposed to ESPN, I believe in 2011, 2012. I wanted to do a show on ESPN called Black Topped, and it was going to feature me, Michelle Beadle, and Hannah Storm. So I've had an affinity for Michelle Beadle for a long time. She was always, kind of presented herself as the girl you'd like to have a beer with, that talk sports with. Back in 2010, 2011, back when I was that bogus character, Big Sexy, I liked Michelle Beadle. And the whole Black Topped show was a gimmick, was a meme, was a joke. It was sarcastic, but anybody, it was hilarious. So I can't believe that I'm beefing with, that I have beef with Michelle Beadle, but the beef actually started, and this is what's really gonna blow your mind. The beef actually started in 2014, and it started with me in 2014 defending Stephen A. Smith. Can you believe that? Because here's what happened. In 2014, it was the Ray Rice stuff. We're going back 10 years ago. The Ray Rice deal where he punched his wife in the elevator, and Stephen A. Smith got on First Take with him and Skip Bayless, and he's trying to walk through some provocative take on Ray Rice. And at some point, he skids off the road a little bit and starts talking about provocation. He skidded off the road, but people made way too much of it. And because Stephen A. was talking about the advice he allegedly gives his sisters, and hey, let's make sure you're not doing anything to provoke, blah, blah, blah. It's an inappropriate statement. He skidded off the road, but a big deal? No, it's not a big deal. And so Michelle Beadle, though, sees it an opportunity to go at Stephen A. Smith and elevate herself, knowing that, because again, they're both working at ESPN at the time, they're teammates. Knowing that as a woman, because this is at the very beginning of, or the early stages of the whole Me Too movement, and just women coming in and just taking over everything and scaring men to death. And so she realized, oh, wow, I can pounce here, elevate myself, take a pot shot at Stephen A. Smith. So she tweets out, I'm thinking about wearing a miniskirt this weekend. I'd hate to think what I'd be asking for by doing that. And she added Stephen A. Smith and says, don't provoke, hashtag don't provoke. She knew what she was doing. She was throwing Stephen A. Smith under a bus. I ended up defending Stephen A. Smith over Twitter, and it's one of them deals like, oh, okay. I see who Michelle Beadle is planning it to be. She's gonna ride this little sexism, feminist deal till the wheels fall off. She's gonna ride it into a bigger contract and more publicity for herself. You know how I don't like fraudulence. And I don't like all this woke, I'm the super feminist, but because it ain't really who you are. You love that bottle more than anything. And ask anybody, Michelle Beadle loves that bottle. But anyway, that was the beginning. That was a little love tap for me in the beginning, like, oh man, we may have beef. And then 4 years later, when she's really feeling herself and she gets the big contract from Get Up, and her and Jalen Rose, and they're the biggest upcoming stars, and the whole network's gonna be built around Michelle Beadle. She's the it girl. Next thing you know, she's gonna get up with Mike Greenberg, and Urban Meyer is in a controversy at Ohio State over his assistant football coach and what he knew about his assistant football coach's domestic problems with his wife, and did he cover it up and all that. And the next thing you know, Michelle Beadle's talking about she don't watch football, college or NFL, because, you know, they don't protect women. Woo! I want to play a little, I think we got a little clip here. Let's play a little clip of Michelle Beadle on the Urban Meyer and football deal.
You had 11 hours. This thing went on all day yesterday. You had 11 hours. When things don't happen in the first hour or two, you got to start thinking to yourself, this might not go the way I thought. Let me start to think about how I'm going to handle it. And in 11 hours, you couldn't at least get up there and pretend to be a little bit sorry. You couldn't say, look, this is an awful situation. It could have been handled a million times better. Courtney Smith, I am sorry that you got dragged through. You couldn't even muster that, which tells me everything I need to know, that you have zero culpability in this and you don't think anything wrong happened, which is why I think the entire thing is a farce.
That was her going after Urban Meyer because, you know, in 11 hours, he didn't play the optics game. And then she ended up doubling down at some point and talking about she's done watching football, and that got her a lot of notoriety. And that's when I was like, oh, we got real beef here. Me and Michelle Beadle, we went from black-topped to, nah, I can't mess with that. I can't co-sign this. You know, you hate football. You're not watching football. And again, Michelle Beadle, what she did, attacking football the way that she did, and trying to get women to quit watching football. If you're wondering why the NFL is bending over backwards for Taylor Swift, if you're wondering why they've made Taylor Swift part of the NFL script, Michelle Beadle. And women like Michelle Beadle. But particularly Michelle Beadle. She sat on an ESPN platform and tried to talk people out of watching, tried to talk women out of watching football, tried to demonize football. Guys, I love football. Football's the reason why I'm here, the reason why I have a platform, the reason why I had a media career, the reason I got up out of the hood, the reason why I got to a college campus. This is a far more nuanced conversation. More people are involved than Michelle Beadle and suburban white women who love the bottle. Michelle Beadle's trying to destroy the path I took and many other young black men took to get on a college campus and to elevate themselves and their family. Very selfish. And I'm not saying Urban Meyer handled everything properly. I'm not saying every athlete has handled things properly as it relates to domestic violence and those issues. But you want to lead the movement to destroy football and its following and try to demonize football as something beyond the pale? Miss me with that. And that's why I look at it's like, a lot of black people over social media, if you attack hip hop, oh, that's a bridge too far and you're racist or you're a sellout. Hip hop, in comparison to football, in terms of the millions of black men's lives that have been impacted, improved by their participation in football, it ain't even close. But I'm not supposed to be defensive about football. I'm not supposed to be protective about football, but let someone say something bad about Tupac or some rapper, some pornographic rapper, and then, oh, you know what hip hop has done? Hip hop has given a bunch of criminals an opportunity to be paid off by the puppet masters to go out and promote degeneracy. But I'm sidetracked. Michelle Beadle. Number 44 on my beef list.